Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are and whenever you are. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Community Livestream. My name is Chuck Tomasi, and I am happy to be here despite technical difficulties. Sorry we didn't have an episode yesterday, but we had a little bit of a problem with one of the machines, and I was unable to revive it in time for the show. So, very happy to be here. Even got a little bit of a late start. Still chasing down some goblins in the whole works today. This is the web series where I take you through a random journey in our community to learn, share, solve problems, answer questions, and not only get you those answers, but convey, make sure the audio is working. Yeah, the audio is working. Thank you for joining us. Convey how we got to those answers, whether it was through brute force, through random knowledge, through research, through trial and error, how that works so that you can take those skills and employ them in your daily job. So that's what we're all about. My name, as I said, is Chuck Tomasi. Been with ServiceNow for about 10 years. Well, been with ServiceNow for 8 years. Been using the platform for about 10. I was a customer for a couple of years before that. Most of my experience has been in either ITSM or platform, custom applications, integrations, that sort of thing. So that's usually where my questions and answers gravitate towards. And yeah, let's get on with it. I will make my icon a little smaller and encourage you, if you are watching live, give a shout out in the chat room. I'll get those URLs in just a second. If you've got a question regarding to ServiceNow, you've got a problem, an issue, a technical question, you want to explore something, please post it in the community where it can be found easier by people who are coming after you. It's a better source of record than dumping it into the chat, easier to find than scrubbing through video, and easier for others to find should they want to come along later. So I encourage you, please put that in the community at community.servicenow.com. If you just want to give me a wave, say hi, let me know what the weather's like in your area, put it in the YouTube chat, or we simulcast this on Twitch. If you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you will get a notification when we go live. And thank you for joining us. It's a wonderful day, and happy to be here. Just a few short days until Knowledge. I will not be doing these live streams during the week of Knowledge, and then there's a short week where I get back. Don't know about that, and then I'm on PTO. So May is going to be very sparse with these. I want to try and get as many in to pre-Knowledge 18 as we can. This is May 1st. May 1st, 2018. Thank you for joining me. It's great to be here. Let's get started. I do have one other thing. If you haven't been over to developer.servicenow.com, please go and have a look. You can get yourself a free personal developer instance, find out where the meetups are, get all kinds of information about our scripting APIs over at developer.servicenow.com. I have my herbal tea ready to go. Oh, that's good stuff. Good morning, Praneeth. If you are just starting your day, I hope you have a wonderful day. It's Tuesday, although it feels like Monday. Monday was a train wreck full of technical issues. Maybe I'll get into that in just a little bit. Oh, it was crazy, crazy. Let's get started with the community. I like to start with the unreplied. Let's find out what new conversations have come in recently that we can dig into and get started. Again, I am not going to be able to dig into a lot of these. My expertise is not vast enough to cover the entire width and breadth of the platform. Excuse me. Such as this one in cloud management. I'm probably not going to help with virtual machines. How to edit or delete draft in NOWCommunity. That one's in member feedback. We do have a forum. Remember, if you are posting something in the community, please put it in the appropriate forum. This one happens to be a question about the community itself, and we have one called member feedback. If you have a question about reporting, please put it in the reporting forum. If you've got a question about cloud management, as that first one is, cloud management is a good one. By putting it in the right place, you get a better categorization so that people who are monitoring that space, for example, if your personal developer instance is having issues, put it into the instance help forum. There are people that will get alerts that say, hey, so-and-so is having a problem with their instance. Might want to check it out. It keeps the right eyeballs on the right and gets alerts to the right people so that you can get your help the fastest. If you accidentally put one about, hey, my instance is having a problem in developer community, you might be a while. I apologize for that, but you got to make sure it's in the right place. Good morning, Ashley. Good to see you. I look forward to seeing a number of you at Knowledge. It's going to be a wonderful time. The schedules are filling up, and there's only a few days left. Whew, this is a crazy time of year. And still, I crank through these things. I should post something to the community that I just saw come up this morning. We made a promotional video for CreatorCon to help people understand what it is, what they expect to see, activities that are going on. I'll talk about CreatorCon in a little bit. We made a bunch of bloopers right here in this very studio. Lily Lee and I put together a blooper reel yesterday, or an outtake video, and she immediately posted it to YouTube and Facebook. I saw it this morning and I had a good laugh. It still cracks me up. I will get that up on the community this morning. So watch for that. It's kind of humorous. I don't know where I'm going to put it. Maybe a blog article or something. Also have the content for the Tech Now episode we did last week, episode 49, about faster integrations with the REST API Explorer. And we'll get that posted as soon as the video is up on YouTube. I'm waiting for somebody to do that for me. It's going into a different account this time, and I don't have those credentials yet. Jonah, Knowledge 18 is going to be a blast. This is your first time. Welcome to Knowledge. You are, this is the biggest one we've ever had. It's going to be crazy. Look forward to hopefully seeing you in this sea of people. You can find me easily enough. We should see an announcement today that the mobile app is going to be out today. I know there's been some rumors that it's been out, but I've been told don't download it until you see the announcement. Somebody told me yesterday. I went ahead and downloaded it from the Android store. It had information, but it didn't have all the information. So don't jump on it yet. It had things I saw on my agenda, the global events like the keynotes and the parties. It was very general, but it didn't have my specific sessions. For example, I'm speaking at a number of sessions. I would expect to see those on my agenda. Didn't see them, so therefore it's incomplete. I deleted the app, and I will wait until I hear the official announcement. So hold on to that. Thank you, Jonah. I'm glad you enjoyed the webinar last week. We had a good time doing that. I've got all of the Q&A. There were over 100 questions, and we answered about half of them while we were online. I have posted those, or I've turned them into HTML that I can copy and paste right into the community post when I get that ready. So you'll have the benefit of seeing not just your questions, if you asked one, but also anyone else who happened to be on at that time. All right, where were we? We were looking at new questions in the community. I was attempting to create my first article in the community, but couldn't finish it in one sitting, so I saved it as a draft. Now I can't find any way to edit or delete the draft I created. The only option is to publish. This is a draft. Users cannot view the content until it has been published. The three dots don't do anything. I am going to do a quick little sanity check. Not that I don't believe them, but I do want... Here, let's open a new tab. Response seems to be doing pretty well. There is a slight glitch with the audio coming off of this machine, and I don't know why. I tracked it down yesterday morning, and I thought I fixed it, and it's back. So I don't know if the machine is just getting old. I am working on getting a replacement. Love my job. So let's go and create a new post content. Let's post a question. I'm not actually going to post it. I'm just going to do an example. What is your question? Sample, please ignore. Let's try and get the hands on the right home keys here. Please ignore. That's why they have those little dots on the keys, right? Forum. Developer community sounds fine. Description. test, please ignore. And if where's the save? I don't see a save option. I don't know how he did that. Start with the obvious question. How did you do the save? Was it at the top? Was it somewhere else? Is this a right-click option? It's a widget. This is all built on Service Portal. Yeah, I don't see... Okay, so let's respond. How did you do the save? Can you provide details about where you posted this and what kind of post it was? I just tried this with a discussion. Is that what I did? Discussion in the developer community and didn't see an option to save draft. I wasn't aware this feature existed. Okay. Is this Ted? Spelling, Charles, spelling. I knew a Charles Spelling, I'd give him a call. What if he's related to Aaron Spelling? Approval records in custom mobile application. We'll take a look at that. Sounds like something we might be able to do. How to remove CMS element from customer portal carousel. Ooh. CMS element in CSM. I think somebody got their acronyms a little backwards. CMS is the legacy self-service portal. CSM is customer service management, which is built on Service Portal and has I mean, the front end is Service Portal. I shouldn't say it's all built on Service Portal. How to move one table of related list records into another table of related list records. I can help with that. My request, I would like to see software installation records under computers table of the related list table, software installations. In both tables, related list table is the same, software installation. Condition, computer table of record name and arrived computer of record name. If it match, then only move related table records from arrived. My script is not working in scheduled jobs. It goes into CMDB computer, looks for anything where computer name is the current SysID, gets all the records, and for each record you find, go into arrived computers, find where name is the computer name. All right, get a query if you have one. Then do another. Wow, this is like 3 queries inside of each other. You click on computer name, it is navigating into arrived computer table. I got lost. This is just... Okay, so computers, software history, pictures help. Pictures help. I want to see installations record under the computer record. Okay, so software installations. I'm not following the complete data model, and that's half the battle in getting this to work. It's easy enough to move records. You just change the reference field value. But until I can get my head around what the problem is, and that's going to be a problem. Okay, I need some input on the below scenario use case. Once my computer is developing an in-house mobile app, we need to feed my approval data as it comes in self-service My Approvals to the mobile app for CR rec approvals, change request. I would suspect that's change requests and like catalog requests, and rejection. Use get method of REST API and query sysapproval approver table to show the data on app. Number 2, in app develop some button for approval and rejection. Number 3, on these buttons initiate put method calls for approval and rejection. It's pretty high level, and I'm looking for experts' input on same with the task to be carried out for this integration. I I wouldn't go with the table API. In this case, I recommend using a scripted REST API so you have total control over what comes in and what goes out. You can make a get and a post on the same REST request. No, the same REST. It's not a resource. The resource is the endpoint that you eventually get. API. Then from your service portal widget, call them from the client script to populate or update the records. I had an example. Let me look on GitHub. I don't know if I posted it out here or not. I don't want to sign in. I just want my repos. GitHub.com/ChuckTomasi. And I thought I had my Meetup app out here to do that. This is my demo from Knowledge 17. Where's see all my repositories? There it is. Make that a little bigger. Search repository, Meetup. If you want to see an example, feel free to clone and import this GitHub repo. Ding. All right, ding. There we are. Good morning to the rest of you who have joined recently. This is the community live stream where I go through and not only provide questions, but give you the thought process and verbalize what's going on inside my chaotic brain to get that information to you while I drink a lot of herbal tea. And yes, they have good herbal tea at Knowledge. How to remove demo data from the live feed for everyone. That, my friends, is going to be an exercise in tables. Is there a way I can remove demo data from the live feed for everyone, please? Yes and yes. Let's go to here and let's go to tables and find the tables that start with live_something. So under system definition tables, I am looking for a name that starts with live_%. And I have live favorite, live poll, live cast, live tag, live message, and just clean those tables out. There are 18 of them. Let's give them that information. What was her name? Lisa. Hi, Lisa. I have a daughter named Lisa. Hi, Lisa. You start by going to system definition tables and find all the tables that have live_ as the start of the name. You should see about 18. Go into each one and click the button. Was it delete all records? Or I think it's delete all records. And I'm not in the right scope. I'm still on my Tech Now quick tip from last week. Oh my. Delete all records. Delete all records. That will clean out the data. Here. How did I know that? Just went to tables. I knew that the live feed tables start with live_something. Help for IBM Watson Assistant integration with ServiceNow. That's an interesting question. I dabbled with it a little bit about a year ago. It's a crazy thing. Encrypt password using secure has I gone. Let's see what they want on that Watson integration. My guess is it's the Watson Conversation API. Has anyone done Watson Assistant integration for ServiceNow? I have attached document of ServiceNow white paper, but it didn't help. Can anyone guide me through the proper steps of this integration? I already created a REST message and post function. You need to set things up on the Watson side. That's the big part of it. Have you set up the conversations on the IBM side? I don't know, like Blue something, Blue Workbench, or I can't remember what they call that. Like I said, it's been a year. I only dabbled with it for a week or so, and then I was on to something else. It might be a good question for the SN Devs Slack channel. If you're not part of that, you might want to consider joining sndevs.slack.com. DEVS. Crypt password using secure has algorithm. I don't know what that is for a question. Oh, is this the one where they were asking last week about what is the algorithm used in password 1 and password 2? I have to encrypt date of birth variable in a catalog item using secure hash algorithm and salt password. Can anyone suggest on how to do this? No. No, I can't. I'm sure it's out there. Developer instance has been unavailable for more than 24 hours. Did they give an instance name? This is a case where, yes, they posted in the right forum, instance help. I don't see an instance name, so somebody else is going to have to get on that has access to that instance. Our internal people can look this up based on the email address or the handle or whatever it is that they can find out who belongs to which instances. I usually can't help unless I get an instance name or number. And even if it's asleep or offline, I don't have access to the back-end tools. Sometimes I can get in there if somebody says, hey, I can, the instance is alive, but I can't log in. We can usually check and say, is it the password? Did they mess up a business rule that's preventing them from logging in? Sometimes I can get in and help that way. But most of the time, we do need help from the professionals. People actually manage those instances. Content item with dynamic URL. ServiceNow developer needed in central New Jersey. Hey, there's a job out there. Suggesting a minor, you can check the community for that. There are also job hints on the Slack channel as well, SN Devs. My instance is reporting service interruption. The instance is unavailable. Let's see what 41151 says. Dev 41151.servicenow.com. Yep, that's something that the big boys have to take care of. So back to this one. How to add a filter. How to add a filter condition on a UI page. I'm not sure what they're looking for filter condition. Oh, they're probably looking for a condition field. We have a UI page for customized slush bucket with search functionality. Since there are many number of users, the page takes more time to load and also makes page unresponsive. Hence, we are trying to add a condition builder so the number of records loading can be controlled. How to create a condition builder on a UI page. There may be a macro. Let's look at UI macros. And see if there's anything in there about, they all start with UI if I remember right, like UI reference, UI application picture, UI button, checkbox, choice list, choice input, date, do not, DND creates a drag and drop slush bucket. Interesting. Global text search, header, input field, language. I don't see a condition builder yet. Not done. There's another page. It could be under something else. Multi-line input, NG relation, page footer, progress worker. Radio reference select. Option single record spacer theme changer. 5 more. Time zone. No. Do not see it. Oh, and here come the sneezes again. I will try my best to mute. That is a good question. I would like to follow that just to see what somebody comes up with, but I don't see a macro. Just because it's not in the UI macros doesn't mean it's not there. You can still reference macros that are on the file system, but I don't have access to that right now to tell you what they are. Developer instance is unavailable. Wow, this seems to be a epidemic this morning. Let's refresh this list, see if anything new came in. It is half past the hour already. Apologize for starting a little late today, but I appreciate your patience and joining us, hanging out for an hour while you get who knows what. Page 18, create a new case in Agent Workspace is not described correctly in documentation. Let's see. I was curious about the page 18 part. To me, the explanation on page 18 of the alpha documentation is not clear enough. All right, I don't know that. Where do they post this? Agent Workspace internal feedback. Oh, I don't think I should open that one. That's an internal page only. Limited use on some of these pages. You may have just had a sneak peek of London there. Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. One of the hazards of doing this live. All right. While I gather my thoughts on that, let me quickly go over and remind you that there are only a few short days remaining until Knowledge 18 in Las Vegas, May 7th through 10th, and that doesn't include the pre-con training, which is May 6th and 7th. So theoretically, we have about 5 days until the show starts, 4 and change. If you're getting there on Saturday like me, it's coming up really fast. There's only a couple days left to do anything even remotely related. And I'm waiting for someone to jump out of a cake and say, surprise, you have a whole bunch of other things to do. But at this point, I'm feeling pretty good about where we are. There are hands-on labs. We've got sessions, and more sessions, about 90% of which are covered by customers. The hands-on labs, you get your own personal instance for the time of that lab. So if you are walking into a workshop or lab and doing an exercise on Flow Designer, you will have your own instance for that. We will be spinning up probably 50 to 60,000 instances over the course of Knowledge, CreatorCon, and the pre-con training that goes on, all thanks to my good friend Craig Stepp, who handles a lot of that stuff on the back end. He's been doing this for the last few years, gets better at it every year, so this year he should be a rock star. But that's pretty cool when you think about it, is we have the ability to do that at that scale. And that speaks volumes to our platform, to our orchestration product, to how nimble you can be to say, I need 100 instances set up, and 2 hours later, take them down. Meanwhile, I'm doing that same thing multiple times for every session that's going on. It's crazy how this works. And it's not like we've super scaled a specific instance for this. It's happening on the same production size instances that the majority of our customers are running on. And it works very, very well. So I got a little bit behind the scenes. We did do a Tech Now a couple of years ago about that topic, how we use ServiceNow on ServiceNow for Knowledge. I think it was Knowledge 15 or 16 at the time. The technology has changed. He's rebuilt the whole back-end instance, but it's still just to kind of clean up the management and maintenance of it. Bring business cards. You will be meeting a lot of new people, and you want a little cheat or trick? Write down where you met the person and what you talked about on the back of the card. Either while they're not looking or shortly after you meet them, so that you remember when you get home 2 weeks later, you will look at that business card and go, who was this person from this company that I saw? And rather than becoming maybe a remember, oh yeah, was that the guy I met at the such and such workshop, or was that at the party, or was that at the intro? When did I? If you write a note on the back to yourself, then you stick it in your pocket. It'll make a lot more sense later. And you can keep in touch with that person, keep your network alive, and your career is largely built on the network you build. So this is a career opportunity, whether you're a developer, a CIO, or somewhere an admin, junior admin, somewhere in that spectrum of ServiceNow ecosystem, you will benefit from making these connections. I know I certainly did when it came to Knowledge 10, my first Knowledge, some 8 years ago. This would be my 9th Knowledge. That's hard to believe. It's a lot of change over those years, and it's been a lot of fun. And I hope that you get that same excitement, that same vibe, that same connection. I just turn to the person next to you. If they're a complete stranger, say, "Hey, how are you doing? Where are you from? What do you do in real life?" That's my dad started me saying that decades ago, because when you're in Vegas, it's not real life. So you have to find out what people do in real life, and use whatever clever opening phrase you want. Say, "My name's Chuck. I'm from ServiceNow. What's your role?" And find out a little bit about that person, what they're working on, and in about 10 minutes, you can make a great connection. You never know where it's going to lead. Sometimes it's interesting. Sometimes it has nothing to do with what you're doing, but you never know. You may talk to somebody who's doing something completely different that's looking for your skill set, or looking to tap your brain about how you did something. What have you done? Where are you on your ServiceNow journey? Are we just starting out? Or have we been there for a while? What challenges did you have? Oh, you're building custom applications? What sort of things are you building? We're looking into that. Have those discussions. That is a huge, huge value in going to Knowledge. Don't forget, if you are an admin or developer, check the checkbox that says CreatorCon. If you forgot, go back to the registration page where you signed up. Go into your profile, and you'll find it there. That entitles you to the content for CreatorCon. Things like the hackathon. The developer theater is open. You can walk in and do one of these TED Talk style talks anytime of any day. Get in there, sign up, get to CreatorCon. You get a special piece of swag. I don't know if it's a t-shirt or electronic component or what it is, but Lily Lee has assured me that if you sign up for CreatorCon, you get a special piece of swag. Even if you look at the agenda later and go, none of this is really for me, that's fine. At least make that determination, because if you don't check it and then you do look at the agenda and go, "Oh, I really wanted to go to that, but it's full," had your chance. Right? You had your chance before, you have your chance now. And as I mentioned, the mobile app is coming out any day now, any hour now. I expect to see information about that. Let's go back to the community, see if anything came in. Email notification when there is an update on activity. Let's find out what that's all about. Is there a way to send an email notification to assignment group when there is an email sent to activity? Yes. So if the email was sent and has been opened on your behalf, that's just part of what notifications are for. Creating a notification that is triggered on a comment, assignment group change, or any other update, or any update in general, is very easy to do, even if it has no conditions. That's probably the easiest one, right? Spell assignment right. Wrong key. Let's get a docs page on that. Notifications. Go to the Kingston. I'm at docs.servicenow.com if you're not familiar with this page. Email notification. We can create a new email notification. Create the email notification. Copy that link address. Paste that in there. Docs, create the email notification. Let's give it the right title. And link, paste, link, try that again. Link, paste, new window, okay. Reply. Very easy, very done. Next up, does anybody have any question in the community? How's the weather, Jonah? Where are you from? Let's get a little social here. What do you do in real life? I don't think there's anything new. I just hit that reply. Static HTML content block. Links can't include JavaScript? Find out what that's about. Just came in. Sounds like it's part of CMS. I'm trying to set up a simple content block to pull up some record lists via hyperlinks. The one link containing JavaScript causes the link to entirely disappear once the content block is saved. It seems like the parentheses are the issue, but I don't know a workaround. This is the offending chunk. This is part of an encoded query. This part is encoded. Due date less than or equal to. Have you tried? Let's see. ASCII hex codes. Have you tried encoding it? Parentheses are. Wow, that's tiny. Make that a little bigger. Parentheses are. I know what the brackets are. 40 and 41. No, that's decimal. 28 and 29. Okay. Let's give this a try. Hey, I don't know. It might not be the answer, but it might be close. Have you tried URI encoding the parentheses? JavaScript. You might even have to do the... You might even have to do the colon. JavaScript colon. What was it? GS. End of today. Percent 28 and 29. Is that what it said? Yes. 28, 29. The colon would be 3A. For what it's worth. I know a few offhand, the common ones. 3D is an equal. So it's always funny when someone says, in 3D. This movie is in 3D. Mm-hmm. Just a nerd thing that goes on in my head. It's funny, a lot of places in the Midwest and East Coast are having a warm spell, and I'm actually having a cool spell, and it feels good. Sunny Phoenix, Arizona, where late last week the highs were about 100, and it was very nice. 100 with low humidity is very, very pleasant. Woke up this morning, it was 67. Whew. Which is good because the studio gets a little warm with the lights and whatnot. So I'm not opposed to leaving the window open overnight and keeping it nice and cool in here. All right, let me go into, I should have gone into my notes from previous days. I had some notes from yesterday, except we ran into technical issues. So let me, oops, I didn't star that. Right. Bring up my notes. Bring up my notes from a couple of days ago. There's usually a topic or two in here that I'd like to discuss. Come on. Happy May Day. Happy May 1st for everybody. It also happens to be the 13th anniversary of a podcast that Craig Stepp and I do. Top level org structure. I didn't see if this got an answer or not, but I did want to talk about it. There's a couple of methods that I have in my head. So the question was posed a while ago. Was it a while ago or was this a new one? This is 2 years ago. Someone came back and said, hey, I need to check the below hierarchy for current user. Can I check this hierarchy? But I can check this hierarchy, but unfortunately, if some put any of the low level person is manager to a top level, if any If any user by mistakenly putting a level 4 person as manager, the level 2 is, the system is going to loop between level 2 and level 4 user on this. I think they're just looking for the top level. I need to check below hierarchy. I'm not. All right, here's what I don't understand about this. What are they trying to get out of this? I need to check the below hierarchy for current user in ServiceNow. I could check this hierarchy, but unfortunate if I think that should be anyone, puts any of the low-level person is manager of another top-level users. Yeah, I'm not getting, at first I thought I understood this as, hey, I want to get the top level, because that's what this thread was all about. I'm not clear what your objective is. Can you give an example of what is working or not, and how you would like it to work with sample data? Question mark. All right, if you want to, this is sort of a computer science exercise called recursion when you're dealing with trees. If you want to do a search and you're given the top level, you first find out what other records are connected to this one. Simple query, right? We can do a glide record query where, let's say this is called a parent link. And we've got a parent to child relationship, and it's done with a parent field that references the same table. You can find all records where parent is current.sysid. Very easy to do. Once you've got those two, you do what's called recursion. You call a function inside of the function. It seems like you're gonna get into an endless loop, but eventually it returns something. If you're starting at the bottom and you want to find who is at the top, that's a different scenario. Okay, so rather than using recursion, you would start at the bottom and say, all right, do you have, this is still a recursion exercise, excuse me, but you're querying for a different result. This time, L4 is, let's say, has a pointer to L3. And if we imagine this as managers, right? I want to know who's at the top level, whether I'm starting at L4, L3, or L2, which was the original intent of the thread. They say, hey, anywhere I start in the tree, I want to find who the CEO is. One way is just say, okay, assuming all records have a manager, the CEO does not. Or maybe you make the CEO his own manager. Because if you're trying to do an approval and you say the manager needs to approve, the CEO would get a busted approval saying, hey, there's no manager here, therefore I'm not going to ask for an approval, and it's going to go right on through. Okay, that would defeat possibly some governance and controls. One way is to say, look for any record that doesn't have a manager. That must be the CEO. Or look for any record where they are their own manager. That must be the CEO. The programmatic way to do it would be you look for the parent record and you say, is current.parent.manager empty? No. Then call the same function with the parent record. And now the parent becomes current. Okay. You do the same function over and over and over again until you get to that and say, okay, return this. And it will return its way out of this hierarchy, out of this depth, out of this stack of operations where you've called the function, and it returns because now it got the result that it needs. So look up recursion and you might be intrigued. So there's a couple of different ways you can do this if you're looking for the top level CEO. My caveat to the original thread was, does the CEO really want approvals? If you have to have top level approval from somebody, you may want to put it in a data lookup table and use that as an approval rather than bothering the CEO, who probably doesn't do the approvals themselves. They have an admin assistant or somebody to do that for them. But be aware when you get to executive level operations of what sort of dynamics are going on. Unless you make this as slick as can be, and you can do this in ServiceNow where they can simply approve it on their phone. They go, hey, somebody wants to shut down the ERP system tonight for an emergency change. That requires executive level. Okay, they hit approve. They get bling, ERP shut down, they better know about it first rather than going, what is this? Why am I getting this? Okay. That's called pre-wiring. You have to let people know before they get an approval that they're going to get the approval if you want it to go through as fast as possible. So that's my thoughts on that thread. Let's pull up another one. CI relationships. I hadn't looked at this one. I made a comment on this a day or two ago. I think it was late last week. They said, when I create a relationship between CIs, it comes up fine if I do it manually. But when I do it via script, it doesn't work. I'm missing something. It doesn't show up on the dependency map. And I said, can you include a sample code of this? Which he did. And he goes into the CMDB rel CI table. This is the relationship table that says this CI is a parent of this one, or this CI is a child of that one. That's what that table does. And putting in the parent and child values and the type, the relationship type, you have to have that. It's working. My experiment, which I wanted to look through here, was to understand what exactly is happening when you do that. And I'm hoping I can find some trace of that in the logs. So if I say, let's go to computers, CMDB CI, base items, computers, and I am going to take Annie's IBM here, which we need to update our data. We have a whole bunch that are still running Windows XP Professional. Wow. Oh, hey, let's give them, surprise OS 2 isn't on here. But anyway, we can add to this and say maybe she's got a printer, or Annie's IBM is related to, she depends on, this has changed a bit since I was a kid. All right, we've got a filter. Let's say Annie's IBM depends on, for whatever reason, we'll say David's IBM. Okay, oh, darn it all. Didn't want to do that. Now I gotta wait for this to load up again. Hopefully it'll be faster the second time. Let's pick Chuck's IBM. And the relationship will be depends on used by, save and exit. This will change the data in the CMDB. Let's find out if we can see what just changed. So if I look at, let's go back to Annie's IBM. I am just randomly experimenting here. This is how it goes sometimes. And this is what a personal developer instance is really good for. Is just play around with this stuff. I wouldn't do this in my test environment, or it'll start to mess up your test data. Wouldn't do this in the production environment, but here we can see Annie's depends on Chuck's. I can draw the dependency map because I did this manually. I thought there was a different table that was manipulated, not just the relationship type, but here's Annie's depends on or used by Chuck's. Maybe she's got some data on a shared drive. Or maybe Annie's left and we need to put it in the closet as a temporary server. That stuff happens, right? Let's go to system logs all and see if we can determine if there were any events triggered. That's nice. Big old error from something. Another big old error from something. Those are always fun to try and decipher. App Explorer, I18 and XML, table cleaner, email, no, this is all prior to me doing that thing, whatever that thing was. Let's look at the event log. The other option we have is to delete that and see what happens. Or turn on business rules and make another one. That might shed some light on it as well. So event log, didn't bring up the event log. Try it again, and it will work. Bring up the event log and sort by created. We have the mid-user logged out. 654, 654, user view, user view, user view. Update manifest, wasn't me. Okay, nothing there. Let's turn on business rules. Debug business rule. Details or no details? Let's just do normal. Details shows you what fields are changed if the script changes anything. Let's go back to computers. We can go to recent records. IBM, Annie, and let's nope, that's not what I wanted. Let's add another relationship. Makes me wonder if the other one is still in here. Annie's IBM. Okay, it's still in there. What if I delete it? Done, save, and exit. Will it show up in the deleted records? And what business rules were triggered? Let's go down here. I turned on debugging, so we're going to see a lot of stuff. The answer may be in these API calls, but I'm not going to put my money on it. Get down a little further, Cool stuff. Audit relationship changes, CMDB rel CI. So there's one possibility. Can we open that up in a new tab? We can. Customer service, no, probably not. Before query business rules. Product query from ESM, user query, product model. Okay, let's take a look at the, no, that's not what I wanted. Audit business rules, after and advanced. Does it modify any other tables? I'm just exploring, hacking around. Oh, calls a class, a script include, relationship auditor. Interesting. Let's put that in our back pocket for a moment and see if deleted records has anything interesting to tell us around that. No, just the one record in CMDB rel CI. Interesting. But let's see what's in that record. So if I open this up, it saved the actual record data, the metadata, in this XML payload. Click the little orange tag, and I get display value, the sys-ID of the child, sys-ID of the parent, connection strength. They may be missing this, and the sys fields I probably don't need. And the type is used here. Connection strength, I really don't know what that field is for, but it may be something to note. So I can comment on this finally. Have you tried using new record instead of initialize? They are different. As new record sets default values and calculated values. There. Now the calculated values are done on the save. Default values. I also noticed there's a field called, what was it, connection strength? Odd name for a little field. Where'd it go? There it is. Connection underscore strength. Just set to always. Connection, connection strength, which is set to always when I manually created the record. Try setting that in your script and let me know. There we go. Something to look at. And I am at the top of the hour. There was one more question. the default column for the go-to list. Somebody asked this a day or two ago, and they said, what are these default columns in a related list? Notice down here, it says recorded at. If you sort, it will default to that. Of course, I have no data in here, so it's not going to make any difference on that particular record. So let me get to something a little more reasonable that has some data on it. Let's go to incident table. I think I showed this one on Friday. Go into the incident table, and the related lists have this little go-to filter, as all the lists do. Close that up. Close that up. Close that up. There we are. And I don't have anything in these tables either, but we can make one. All right, so here's incident tasks, and it's searching by number because number is sorted. If I sort by priority, it will then change, wait for it, there it goes, change this to priority automatically. So whatever my preference is for how I want this list sorted is what it will default on the search. That is saved over in the sys user preference folder, table, excuse me. And I can see based on incident underscore task .db order direction is descending, incident under task .db order is priority. So it tells me what field and which direction it's going in the preferences. That way, when I come back, here's the one I just set on the sysupdate version. When I was on that other table and I said nothing's really happening here, it set those, but they didn't have any effect. Now, this is how it knows what to put in that go-to filter. So the follow-up I wanted to give on that one was, oops, that's the other record. You are correct. So note that the system stores the user's sort and order preference in the sys user preference table, which can be found. I better make sure it's still there. I don't know if it's always, but it's usually under user preferences. Yes, user administration, user preference. Oh. Sorry about that. Allergy attack. Fun, fun. Everything's in bloom in the desert right now. My allergies have now moved from the fall to the spring. Which can be found under user administration, user preferences. That signal means it's time to go. So thank you very much for joining. It has been interesting and educational throughout. I appreciate you joining. Hope to see you again here tomorrow, barring any technical emergencies like we had yesterday. Had some DNS issues around here. And really, really hope to see you at Knowledge. Come find me. I'm on the schedule, mostly hanging around the developer hub. So I will see you there if I don't see you again here tomorrow. Take care. Until then, learn, share, help. The world is a better place. Take care. Bye.